Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Crashers podcast, a podcast where I start late because I forget to open up all the programs I need to stream the podcast. I am Angelus de Mortiel, as always, joined by Kev the Gamer.
Damn it, NVIDIA! Stop baking in GameWorks features into games.
He was prepping that one like 3 days ago.
4 days ago.
Major Stupidity.
Well, that's up, everyone.
And Deathshroud09.
Screw Ubisoft.
who read the notes 5 minutes before the podcast and all of a sudden wants to just go on a rant about them.
5?
Yes, that's how much preparation time Travis has.
You're giving him way too much credit.
Yeah, you're being generous here, mate.
He saw the countdown going like, ooh, I should read these notes.
5 minutes, that's practically professional for me.
Exactly.
And
like
this time for my wife.
And this, folks, this is the Pixel Crashers podcast. In case anybody's
I like we don't
wondering.
say anything, but I do the same thing. So
yeah, that's true. Joe is no better, and that there's proof. Kev and I are the only ones who actually read the notes before the podcast because we're the ones that are actually putting the notes together.
Yeah,
it's more interesting if I talk out my ass about it.
and there you have the podcast summed up. We all kind of just talk out of our ass. So games we played this week. Kev, have you actually played any games other than just dissing on Ubisoft?
I haven't dissed on Ubisoft at all this week. I'm enjoying.
Don't worry, we'll fix that.
Oh yeah, I know we will. No, I've been enjoying Far Cry Primal. It's fun. And Gears of War Ultimate and Finals. Because I'm graduating in June, so I'm getting stuff together and the new job grind. I'm supposed to start a new job next week, so
yeah. So you're pretty much prepping now for having no life, right?
Pretty much becoming a casual, because that's what happens when you have a full-time gig and go to school.
Yeah, totally legit. All right, Joe, have you played any video games this week? Oh yeah, there's that one game that you played too much of.
Warframe, and then some of Dark Souls 2. Not much else besides that. I haven't played anything really new.
Battle Cage.
Battle Cage.
One time in band camp, I heard about a chick in a battle cage.
Oh god. Oh god.
I'm joking.
Going nowhere very quickly. So Joe, why don't you tell us? There's apparently something that changed in Warframe. Why don't you kind of give us a lowdown on that?
Imagine I'm somebody who doesn't play Warframe.
Yes.
Still need the virtues of this new patch.
Well, they added in a new enemy, which is literally a crazy old cat lady who summons up wild feral cats that murder you. And they're actually more effective than a lot of other enemies in the game.
Can you teabag the cats?
I mean, you can, but...
Okay, going back to Warframe.
Yep.
Apparently we're supposed to be able to tame our own cats, but I guess that didn't come this update, so...
Well, I can tame cats in Far Cry Primal. I have a jaguar.
Yes, you can tame cats. You can ride mammoths.
I haven't ridden mammoth yet, but I know you can in Far Cry 4.
Yeah, you can do everything in Primal except for upload good quality gameplay of it. Just throwing that out there.
Ouch.
So Travis,
who's posting bad gameplay for it?
No, there was actually Total Biscuit actually did like this huge video on the obnoxiousness of YouTube's bit rates. It like, no matter how
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah, he's right. He's right, but I don't think I don't know. I don't agree with a lot of what Total Biscuit says.
Yeah, no, he has there's a point that he's missing, and what he touched on it, but he didn't really get the point of it. He was saying that obviously on his computer, recording raw, uncompressed footage at 1440p or whatever takes up an insane amount of space on his computer.
What do you think it does to Google?
Exactly. Google may have an immense amount of service structure with a ton of storage, but they also have tons of fucking people uploading videos to YouTube. So if everybody's uploading 133 gigabyte videos to YouTube every day, thousands, millions of people doing that, Yeah,
I mean,
numbers are gonna crash
I'm
pretty
pretty
quick.
sure YouTube uploading is only growing. Like,
and to Mr. Brohan Sebastian Bach in the chat there. Once you get cancer, you don't get cancer. Really, it goes into remission, but it's never gone. Just a little tip for you there. Yes, he has had cancer, and it's in remission currently.
I mean, he still needs money to treat his cancer and to live on, so obviously he kind of still does his job.
And you don't want to sit back in like a rocking chair.
Yeah, exactly.
And cancer doesn't affect making videos on the internet too much.
Actually, it does. He's actually discussed a lot of the issues that he's had.
Not as bad as others. Like if he had a more physical job, it would be a lot more.
I'm hoping for the return of Dark Heresy. Like
I don't know Dark Heresy.
It's the only thing I'm rooting for.
I know, but what I was saying though about as far as my disagreements with TB, I think sometimes his views are one-sided and extreme because he's such an enthusiast. I think he speaks above and beyond the average.
I found he was pretty.
Oftentimes he's even keel, but the problem is that when he likes something, he tends to fanboy over it. Like I said, I was very critical of his getting back into Warframe video. That he more or less, because he not only did he spend however much money on the Trinity Prime Access, the maximum thing, but he also got a ridiculous amount of platinum, like thousands of dollars worth of platinum from referrals doing the Twitch stream, which no complaints. I mean, that's fine. Go for it, man. If you're gonna do that, if you've got the power to do that, by all means, do it. By the way, my referral link will be in the chat below. No, I'm just kidding. But the point is that skewed his view of it, and he neglected to kind of disclose that it did skew that. Whereas his wife played the game and wanted to do the full free-to-play thing, she also had a skewed view because she went the opposite extreme.
I will bring up the fact that I noticed this with Hearthstone a lot because it's free-to-play. You get a lot of people who are flat out like, as a free-to-play player, I should be able to get everything fairly quickly and do all the stuff.
That's not the point.
I should be able to get the whole thing real quickly. It's like, I mean, it costs money to develop games, and I understand free-to-play is great for letting someone experience something quicker, but when people are sitting here going, I want to do the whole thing, never paying, and it's like, I'm going to put 700 hours into this game and get all this enjoyment out of it and never pay a cent. It's like,
that's entitled.
Well, I
that's
mean,
a little bit of entitlement.
It's like you're going to have to deal with some grinding and such.
Yeah, because they obviously want to give you some reason to spend money on the game. Now there is a balance that has to be struck, and I do believe that Digital Extremes is slightly went a little bit over that balance, right? So they had essentially you have a balance of making things grindy to encourage purchases, or making things too grindy where it alienates people. I think that they kind of have gone a little bit over that, unfortunately. A little bit over that.
I feel like they have other design issues beyond making the game grindy.
They also have
grind's not
feature
even
creep.
that big a deal. I think
you can get away with having a very long-term heavy grind a little bit if you make the starting experience good enough, right? And I find that's where a lot of free-to-play game makers fail, is they don't give people enough time to get hooked before they mash them with a paywall. They want to... It's like they want people to go in, get frustrated, and pay straight up. But, it's hard for me to think that it wouldn't just be better to give people a little bit of content and get them stuck into the game. And then just, after that, okay, here's more grind.
There's it's a game where you essentially have to do your own thing. I totally realize everybody on Twitch is totally looking at the last title for the last stream I had. Whoops. I'm so professional.
No one
guys.
expects the Thetis Inquisition.
Yes, that
is
was
that
me.
our new podcast name?
Yes, that was that was me.
We're gonna be the Inquisition.
That was actually me.
And I was sharing the Twitch chat.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was actually me. Me playing some Inquisition. Let's just go ahead and roll that into the games I've been playing this week, shall we? Why not? Yeah, so obviously I've been streaming a considerable amount. I streamed for 2 hours last night. I don't know how these guys do like the 24-hour streams. Dude, that was brutal.
I don't know how they do either. I know they take breaks. It's like eat and piss, and
Well, you
they
kind of
might.
have to, right?
I mean,
like
some people who go and have a set schedule who every day go on for about 6 or 7 hours is a full-time job,
yeah,
They stream
exactly.
for hours a day and then
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'd start hating games.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But I did for 2 hours. I played about 2 hours of Brutal Inquisition, dealing with a mixture of frame rate issues, confusingly on my system. I don't know what's changed, but apparently I can't play it on the same settings I had, so I'm tweaking those to make it better. But the other problem that kind of came into focus was the fact that yeah, the netcode's still bad in that game, and I'd forgotten how bad it was.
In which game?
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh yeah, that.
Hopping into a quick match and joining someone on the East Coast and watching myself jump, 10 feet at a time. Yeah,
that's like there's no reason you should do that, especially on an American server.
Yeah.
My question is there still a community? Like, if I wanted to go back and remember, I was playing. I don't remember what the levels were. We had the equivalent to silver. I probably still wouldn't be able to find a match.
I don't know. I haven't played anything lower. I hopped into the equivalent of gold, essentially, perilous on there, and I found a match, fairly easily. Now the problem is that there's not quite enough people on PC, and the problem with that is that the reason why I say that is because if I host up a lobby, I don't notice a huge amount of people hopping into my lobbies like immediately. Like Mass Effect, I can still probably host a lobby and it fills up quickly.
I was hosting one the other day.
But there was a bit of resurgence with it. I've actually noticed, whereas I kind of hit up all the Mass Effect, or sorry, the Dragon Age guides that I have up, I noticed they kind of started slowing a bit on their views, and then all of a sudden they kind of hit a resurgence about a month ago or so, and I was kind of surprised. And then the other night, I was there was some person that I talked to occasionally on Twitch was saying, "Oh yeah, such and such person streaming on Twitch." I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And it was a couple of cool people that actually apparently knew who I was, which was kind of amusing. And then I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let me load up the game and play it again." And that was a study in brutality.
And while we're on the subject of BioWare games, I think we should bring up today is the 4th year birthday of Mass Effect 3.
It is the 4-year anniversary. I shared something on Facebook about that. The 4-year anniversary of one of the best multiplayer experiences I've had.
Mm-hmm. I remember you shared it up, and I had already liked BioWare's post for it.
Yep. So happy birthday, Mass Effect 3. You're still awesome.
Oh, it's still awesome. I can still find matches.
Hold on. Let me actually translate it to Mass Effect 3 speech. Well, bang. Okay. God, Commander Shepard.
Yeah, Commander Shepard banged everyone in that series.
Well, that was the joke.
Is there anybody you can't bang?
Report to the Normandy immediately. Well, bang. Okay.
I really think Kasumi is like the only person. Samara. Well, no, you can eventually bang Samara.
Yeah, and then it kills you.
No, that's her daughter. But if you can bang Samara in the Citadel DLC.
I don't think so. I think you just have a little lovey-dovey affectionate scene, but you never sleep with her because you can't. I don't think. No, sorry. Samara's not Ardot Yashi. Never mind.
No, it's her daughter. Her daughter kills you if you bang her.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But I don't think so.
Of course, BioWare's idea of romance is let me go approach you to have a casual conversation.
Like Dragon Age
2? Yeah, like that was the problem I had is go talk to one person and they'd be like, "Listen, before we can go any farther, you need to go break up with so and so." And I'm like, "I haven't even romanced anyone. I didn't even do it."
Like, whoa! I thought we were having casual conversation here. What?
Yeah, and I'm not even romancing that person, but I have to go break it off with them. Like,
why can't we just have giant space orgies?
Well, yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, Tyrannicon's Space Scumbag, great series. Great series.
Well, you see, that's what all the NPCs are doing in Mass Effect is they're just all spying constantly on Commander Shepard.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like they all know, like if you talk to any
Well,
other
Garrison,
person in any even slightly favorable way, they're just like, no,
In
no,
fact,
you're mine.
in fact, I'm pretty certain that in Mass Effect 3, someone, one of the new characters accused me of cheating on them with a character that was in Mass Effect 1. That's how in-depth their spying goes. It goes backwards in time, even.
well, Tally and Garrus aren't spying.
Yeah,
They're busy calibrating each other.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What was it? Was it
Uh,
the hashtag calibrate me moment of all the fangirls of Garrus? I'm more approving of the Garrus fangirling than Alistair or Kaiden, because I think they're
Kaiden?
both whiny bitches.
I like Alistair.
Yeah,
Kaiden's a pussy, and I like Alistair, but not much more. I'm a Tally fan. I love Tally.
yeah. No, Tally's awesome. Like I said, Garrus is awesome. Like even if you don't romance him, he's like the best bro in any game I've ever seen. Like you just want to walk up and give him a fist bump every time you see him.
See, that's how I feel about Rex.
Yeah, no, Rex is right up there too. He's more of the guy that you sit down and watch some kind of really full contact sports, drink beer and get drunk, and then he like gets excited because his team scored a touchdown and he headbutts you and knocks you unconscious.
Yeah, see, no, I was thinking like watch that old World War II flicks with him.
Yeah, that too. But let's now that we're 20 minutes in rambling on about the games I played. I also played some Warframe. Obviously, major update to Warframe happened a couple days ago. Kev just found out about it today.
I don't play Grind Frame. I've been playing, like I said, I've been playing Gears and Far Cry.
He thought that he was up on times, and he was like, "Oh, you guys got to read this new article about this new update." And Joe and I are like, "Yeah, that was."
I was like
we-
there
we- we've been
waiting
playing
like,
it for, like,
the morning
2
it
weeks.
came out.
We've been playing it for 2 weeks, Kev.
I'm
Yeah,
already
it's-
building the new frame. I had him started building like the day of the update.
that's because you paid to play or you paid to win. That's why.
Nope.
Pay to win peasantry.
You paid 15 platinum to speed up the crafting that quest.
Oh, that was like 6 hours. speed
Yep,
up.
that's what you did.
The fact that you had to wait 6 hours for it to build.
But the game does look a lot better now. It actually
No,
now
Kev, I have to wait 3 days for it to build. I'd wait 6 hours to build the key to begin the quest.
yeah. That's where the kind of free to play stuff comes in. But in any case though, so obviously it looks a lot better. They did a once over on all of the visuals in the game, made a lot of the lighting and stuff look better.
So it looks AAA now?
It looks a lot better.
It looks better than Destiny.
Honestly, like
That
never
doesn't
had
take
a-
much.
I've never had an issue with Warframes like graphics or anything. I've always
I
thought
know.
they were
They're actually good.
acceptable for what it was.
No,
Yeah,
it actually,
they're acceptable for what they are. But like I would like comparing to AAA games, I would consider an ugly AAA
Well,
game.
the thing about Warframe is like at least the way I played it, like you didn't have time to pay attention to the graphics. I was like running around slashing people.
the
with
thing is
swords.
that
and
they've
everything
been-
was everything was motion blur. So like, who cares about textures?
now the thing is
Yeah,
when you
turn off motion blur.
Me too.
when you're getting up to like 60 fuck planes per second, I can't talk right. 60 plus frames per second, motion blur becomes less and less apparent. So a lot of the clean lines of things, like there was a few times when I would notice like some jagged edges on some of the textures. But if
Right.
you actually go now, especially now, although this has been kind of something that's been continually updating, get up real close and personal with those textures. Get up real close, like right next to it. Look at those textures really close. And fucking tell me that any goddamn AAA game I've played in the past 5 years looks that good. So whenever you're like saying it's an ugly AAA game, I'm like, the art styling is definitely offbeat for a AAA game. But one thing I will say about it that's very apparent is they have better quality in their fucking graphics than almost every other AAA game I've seen. And they're not even AAA; they're independent. So
So I've got a question. Does I'm guessing motion blur makes people like sick, right? Is that why like most people don't like it? Because
It can at high
turn off
frame
the
rate.
It's pointless.
It depends. Sometimes I like it, depending on the game. Like if it fits the theme. Like in Warframe, sometimes I really like motion blur. I find it adds to the
This-
I'm
But
running
you're
around.
also
Just
playing
for
at
me.
lower frame rates than the rest
yeah,
of us.
that's the thing is
Like,
that
Motion blur is great when you play at low frame rates, but when you play it at like 60 plus, turn that shit off.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I need to look around rapidly and notice where enemies are. Let me move my mouse, and then everything's blurred. It's like, I don't want that.
Well, Joe, you're playing at 60. Like you've already made it abundantly clear. You will not play at anything below 60. Not say for somebody like me, I'll play a game at 30. But if I play a game at 30, I'm turning on motion blur.
Yep. That's the thing though, is as I was kind of putting on there, is that like Kev said, at lower frame rates, motion blur, what it does is it kind of smooths out frame transitions when you're moving rapidly. So a very fast-paced game like Warframe, you need motion blur at lower frame rates. Otherwise, it's going to make you motion sick, just because there's that jar of every time you see a new frame being rendered on the screen. Whereas if you're at high frame rates, like 60 plus, preferably, like 120 or 144 hertz, you don't need motion blur. In fact, motion blur at those frame rates actually can cause a different sort of motion sickness, because it's again, like you're blurring out really fast moving frames and it's killing you. But for those,
I've experienced that firsthand with Dying Light. I didn't realize I had motion blur on with Dying Light, and it kicked my ass.
Yeah,
like I had put it down because I'm like, no, this game makes me nauseous. Turn off motion blur, I'm fine.
It's even worse. I got to check out like this, something that was running at 144 frames on 144 hertz monitor, and with motion blur, it kills you. It just like, you're just like, oh god, I feel like my head's being twisted up inside. And you turn it off, you're like, oh, this is pretty. This looks good. But anyway, let's.
It's funny too. Most games, when you have ultra settings, they come with motion blur on. It's like, no, turn that bitch off. What are you doing? Trying to murder me?
Consoles.
That's on PC, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. But in any case, so on our news stories, so there's a kind of a retraction / update that I had for last week's PC World story that we had. I did want to kind of update everybody that not only did Phil Spencer make it explicitly clear that the Universal Windows app platform that's used by the Xbox app will be completely open. They also appear to be working with Valve to make the Xbox PC games work with Steam and vice versa. We'll see if that actually there's any follow-up to that claim. It could be just PRBS. So, take that with a grain of salt. But that was an update on what I said my concern was, is the fact that you couldn't bring purchase Xbox games to the Steam platform. Apparently that may not be the case. So, grain of salt, though.
And Phil Spencer's been a pretty stand-up guy. Even to the fact where we've seen recently, like he'll just shit on the fanboys. It's gold whenever he does it. Like recently, somebody got mad at him for saying he thinks Uncharted 4 looks great. They told him to wave the white flag. It's like, you're not gamers if all you want is PlayStation 4 to fail.
Yeah. The thing is, and here's another thing, important note on here too, is that he also, sometimes he gets stuff wrong. He made a comment in a news where he was being interviewed.
The IGN review?
Yeah, where he commented and said that the Xbox costs half as much as a graphics card alone. The PC
community shit on him for that.
Yeah, he got some backlash for that, and he actually on Twitter made it, kind of redacted that statement. He was like, I was very wrong. There are a lot cheaper options, because obviously.
Yeah, Joe's 760 is about $100 right now, probably.
Yeah,
and it runs circles around
I picked it up
Xbox
One
2
years ago for like $250 or $200.
Yeah, well, it's right. The point is that you can build a gaming PC that beats out Xbox and PS4 for $400 easily.
I was telling you guys last week, I put together a PC part picker build that outperforms them for like $20 less than the console.
The big thing is also, if you already have some type of desktop computer, maybe it's not optimized for games, but if you at least have a starting point, simply upgrading the graphics card and then maybe adding in more RAM, that alone is a lot cheaper than building a computer from scratch.
I would really look into upgrading that power supply too, and make sure that it all fits in your case, because a lot of times the cases are too small for the GPU.
Again, it depends. That's what I'm saying. Starting point.
I mean, yeah, that's a starting. I agree with what Joe's saying. Yes, there's a lot of factors to consider in there, Kev. That's very true.
Yeah, I'm one of those
Because I'd
that
probably
actually
want to
did
upgrade
that.
the
Like
CPU
I
as
I
well.
took my OEM PC
Mm,
and I put a 750 Ti in it, upgraded the graphic or power supply. Like, do I like this? Because I was
yeah,
just gonna stay on the Xbox One. Said, do I like this? And when I saw I liked it, that's when I upgraded and got the 970.
yeah.
Yeah. See, how I had it set up was right around the time the Xbox One and the PS4 came out. It was like, all right, do I want to spend $500 to buy the Xbox One, $400 on the PS4, or my computer was already set up pretty well where all I really needed to do was upgrade the graphics card, which was only $200. And so there you go, like half the price of a new console.
And here's the hoping that Joe's internet's kind of not going to crap out on him, and because he started
Again,
garbling pretty bad.
yeah, the garbling's real over
Oh,
there.
No, it kind of was phasing out, so it might have been just a one-time thing.
am
Hopefully,
I fine?
yeah. Now you are.
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay. It just occasionally will do that.
Yep. But in any case, let's go ahead and get moving on to our first story here, since it is the half hour now. As soon as I can talk. So Phil Spencer hinted at plans for Microsoft to bring consoles out of the dark ages, essentially. Ugh, I hate talking. By having the next Xbox either have some sort of upgradable hardware or have some sort of iterative release of the Xbox, more like, say, like a smartphone where it has a yearly refresh to it. And now I'll explain for a second, like what's exactly being stated here, just so we're everybody's clear. One option would be you buy an Xbox and it has some sort of proprietary connected graphics card, so you could probably only use the Xbox brand graphics card. But every year they come up with a refresh model of it, right? So that way, you can keep up with the times as far as hardware goes. That's one option. Say you invest $400 into the Xbox, and then every year you get $100 graphics card or something like that. Yeah, it's going to cost you more, but if you don't want to upgrade it, then you don't have to. The other possibility is, having a yearly Xbox release. Hopefully that would be cheaper, because that's going to be tough to get the buy-in on that one. But hopefully it would be cheaper. The big thing, the reason for this, and this is the final note before I turn it over to these guys to discuss it here. The big reason for this suggestion was that their Universal Windows platform that I mentioned in the redaction there allows for them, for a game maker to make a game on that Universal Windows platform and have the essential API built into the Universal Windows platform, make it so that you can run it on worse hardware on an older console, or still make it run on a newer console with newer hardware. So it's got that adaptability that it's still the same Xbox, still the same game, but the grading hardware just means it will automatically tone down graphics on the older hardware and tune up the graphics on the newer hardware. So let's just kind of go around and discuss this shift in concept, because this is obviously a very PC-centric concept, not console at all. And my thought is, what do you guys kind of think of this? Is this going to have any buy-in to it? Is this going to, fail, or what?
I don't know. I know I've heard of it maybe happening with the Xbox One Slim. My concern is more so the mindset of a lot of console gamers, and that is that I buy a box, I expect to not have to do anything to it for 5 to maybe 10 years, and I'm good. And I think this wholeheartedly flips it on its head. I don't know if the console audience is going to buy into it or even really get it or understand it. But I would love to see it happen. I would love to, see like yearly iterative upgrades, like you said, basically. Like if you take the Slim model, you open it up and maybe there's like a little compartment in back where it has your CPU, GPU, and RAM. It's all like one little box, and you literally just pull it. You pull it out, maybe I don't know, by like a SATA cable or something. We'll say like a hard drive, and plug it back in.
Whoa.
And that way, you only have to buy this new hardware every year, or
Well,
every console generation, or whatever, and keep the same essential Xbox, and maybe charge like $100 for upgrade.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, Kev. With any new like technology, there's going to be growing pains, especially whenever you try to advance a technology. A lot of people who are kind of like stuck in their old ways, there's gonna, like I said, there's gonna be growing pains.
Yeah.
This is not really a new concept from what I've seen. There's definitely been some talk. I can't remember if it was Nvidia or if it
AMD.
was like Alienware or
It,
AMD.
it, it was it was AMD with Razer where they had the
Well, yeah, it
external
was AMD
GPU.
and Radio. Yeah, where they had that
Oh, my
modular
video's
PC.
frozen.
That where you just had the individual compartments that you shoved into the slots,
Mhm.
and you could they would come up with proprietary upgrades for it. Uh,
Mhm.
so this isn't a new idea. This is where I was kind of hoping we would eventually be able to get to.
Just like a
Where
modular console concept.
yeah, where PC kind of has that consumer, and I know this is still consoles, but if this happens, it's really going to start to blur the line, right, between
Mhm.
PC and console. And this is where I was kind of hoping where it would go eventually is that the console market or the PC/console market would have this kind of split option where you see um, in other products like cars and other things. You have the consumer thing that you can that's easy to work with, and then you have the hobbyist and enthusiast part that's really mechanical and depth into it.
See, when I think of consoles, I think of them like Mac computers.
Right.
It's like I don't have to fuss with the
We'll,
hardware. I don't
we'll
have to
get to
think
that
about.
one later.
Well, no. I mean, I'm meaning it like it's designed to where the user does not have to think of the hardware at all, and you turn it on
Right.
and it works.
Yeah.
I
And
don't think.
that's how I think of consoles, and I think this kind of goes against what
Well,
most
I
people
don't.
consider for a console.
Well, you see, Kev, I don't really think our society is going to be able to survive with that mindset. I don't.
I
Really
agree
don't.
with you. I
I
think
think
that's it's going to turn
eventually,
the console market on its head.
seeing how like our like job market and like just technology in general is going, people are really gonna have to start getting tech savvy. We saw with the age of computers and internet, we've had this big jump of people becoming tech savvy, but they still want that convenience. But eventually, we're gonna need to go back to being a little bit more mechanical with some things, if we want to keep being able to move forward with these technologies.
Right, I agree with you. It's like where we had big things about manufacturing, way back when. It's like now we're still doing that, but we're doing it more so with computers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that, Joe?
It's moved forward.
You look like Joe was about.
I was just saying.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? We just look at how quickly people have adapted to, like, over the past decade or two, how quickly people have adapted to changing technologies. I think the argument's saying, like, this is how the console users have always had it, and, like, this is how they want it, it's always going to be. It's like, I don't know if that really holds water. I think they might say that's what they want right now, but I've just overseen how people adapt to new technology, and people want new conveniences. They want new tech. They want the new experiences. I think maybe not necessarily closer to PC. Like, it'd probably be something closer to like an iterative console release. But I could see definitely the landscape changing there. I don't think this current like trend of console generations is really going to continue.
Right, or even I'd like to see maybe something like iPhones, where there's a new version of the Xbox One every year, new
How they're going to
PlayStation
handle
every
it,
Yeah,
I don't know. But
and as long as they're still
close to
backward and
that.
forward compatible, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, let's go ahead and touch on the iterative release of hardware. How do you think the market will react to that? Not necessarily upgradable hardware, but an iterative console release where you have, every year you have the Xbox 2, Xbox 3, Xbox 4, just like what the iPhone does, for example.
I think if you market it like phones, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, because people pay $200 every year, or every 2 years might be the sweet spot. I hope they don't do every year because it's a misnomer. Yes, Apple releases a device every year, but they actually are their marketing is leapfrogged. So you have the so you've got the 4, the 4S, the 5, the 5S, the 6, the 6S. They leapfrog yearly because they start out that campaign on a lot of people having the lock-in contracts with cell carriers and getting an upgrade every 2 years.
Right, and it's something else to think about too when we talk about that. If you, like you said, phones do it. A lot of PC players do it with graphics cards, and I think if you can make that work with consoles, if you price it right, like say make it okay, like we're going to get a new Xbox every 2 years, say for $250. I think you have something.
I feel like it will also be something. It addresses the issue too of console. Like this console generation has been the most disappointing for a lot of console players. Like when we really look at it, like there's been these smalls, kind of like after 10 years of wait, they were expecting something much more significant.
Yeah.
And it's been probably one of the least impactful changes. And I have a feeling like
something that something that I personally am really surprised about is that there wasn't more of a reduction of a form factor, like a size factor. I'm surprised the consoles weren't smaller than they are.
Yeah, and actually the Xbox got bigger.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, the PS4 is pretty small.
It's pretty small, but it's not as small as I would think it. Like looking at the phone market, like it's interesting seeing that consoles are staying so big.
Well, the thing is,
everything's pushing to be
if you look
smaller.
at like the Wii U is tiny.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'll throw out a couple of thoughts here. First of all, on the size issue, when you're docking a console's not really ideally a portable solution, right? It's meant to be like you sit it in your living room, in your entertainment center, so it has a little bit of a latitude.
I'll say the Xbox One might have also been larger because let's not forget that the Xbox 360 had severe overheating issues.
Now, the 360S did not have that problem because it had a vent fan on it. But aside from that, though, the other part I'll throw out there as another thought for you guys to think of is one of the problems with Apple's iterative release cycle that they have, and Samsung's, and Samsung has also started doing this as well, is they really seem to not innovate as much on their designs and their upgrades as a phone that gets released every few years, or a new phone.
That's why I think comparing it to phones is wrong too, because phones do an iterative thing for a whole different reason.
And mobile technology,
the iterative release isn't as how they make their money.
Maybe even compare it to maybe something like an iMac. Like I go back to the Apple computers, where iMacs, you're expected to keep an iMac for like 4 or 5 years.
I think that brings up another question is like, you say that people do it with phones, and they do, but what about phones are so ubiquitous now? Like, how are people really gonna? Things get to a point where people are like, okay, so I got to get a new phone every year. I got to get a new console every year. I'm paying off my house, paying off my car, paying off my student debt. Like,
people have shown. The thing is that here's the deal: is that people have shown there is a definite market for it. And here's the thing: is that this would be the important thing on the marketing is as long as they put it out there to where you don't have to upgrade to every yearly or every bi-yearly iteration to a release, which is the same thing with phones. Sometimes people will keep an iPhone or a Galaxy S phone for a few years just because they don't have the money to upgrade. Same thing with PCs. Like, yes, it would be nice to get the new 9 series, blah, 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 but some people are still sitting on 6 series or 7 series just because they don't have the money to upgrade, but they know they may at some point, but everything still works, right? That's the important thing. As long as Phil Spencer, and I think he's smart enough to know this, as long as he doesn't alienate people that choose not to hop on the iterative upgrade, bandwagon, as long as he doesn't alienate them, I think they'll do quite well on it. Because I think the misnomer on it will be like what Travis said, is that there's that kind of feeling that you have to upgrade, right? You have to have this new thing. And that's not necessarily the case.
That's why I feel like it's very important that they work towards making it so that you can play with people on older systems. Obviously, you're not going to play with someone with a 10-year-old system, but if someone has like a 1 or 2 year old system and you have the newer one, they need to make it so you can still play with each other, even if the older system maybe doesn't have the same frame rate or doesn't have the same graphical options.
Well, no, I'd like to see it be
Make
more
it so
like a
people don't
PC.
feel like they're forced to upgrade.
Yeah, like
No,
I hate that the 360 you can't even fucking chat with people on Xbox One.
I don't,
like-
yeah, I don't like that either. But
Mhm.
what I would like to see is like, if you do it like a PC, where like it doesn't matter what hardware you have on the other end, we can still play together as long as your PC can run the game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that with the consoles. If you have a launch
And I
Xbox
feel
One
like
and say they put this into effect and there were like 4 or 5 iterations down, and say that's like 7, 8 years later, I still want to be able to play with that launch Xbox One guy.
yeah. Well, they've been going closer to PC chip architectures, haven't they?
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
because
well,
they
the
went to
Xbox
x86 architecture.
Well, the original
yeah.
Xbox was PC architecture too.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
Yeah, my understanding was that the prototype
Nope.
was based off some kind of Dell laptop.
Nope.
Nope.
Not even close. So they've been pretty much sticking to a PowerPC design, which is not. It's a very old and very niche architecture, as far as I remember. On the how they worked it, and then obviously the PS3 used the cell chip on there. That
Yeah,
had
the first 3 PlayStations used that Cell architecture.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
All
remember.
3 of them did.
Okay, yeah. In that case, that was its own proprietary architecture as well. So they've been big on proprietary architectures until the PS4, Xbox One, which both use x86 architecture. Obviously, the difference is that
I'm looking at the hardware for the original Xbox now. It had a Pentium 3 in it.
Sorry, I thought we were talking 360. That had a
Yeah,
power.
yeah,
That
that was
original
the original
Xbox.
Xbox. Yeah, it had a Pentium 3 in it.
Okay.
What? Yeah, I
Yeah.
did it with PowerPC with the Xbox 360.
Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about. But that's why I mentioned PS3. But and as Zyphon put it up there too, the biggest things is that for that hardware, what did he say?
Well, the biggest thing to work for this hardware innovation has to be slow to a crawl.
I don't understand what he's trying to say there.
I don't either.
I'm not sure.
I think
what
it
he's
means
trying
the
to-
biggest
That
thing
last
to work
sheet
on
goes
is
up.
that hardware
Oh.
innovations is slow to a crawl.
Oh yeah, that's the that's the one of the issues is obviously like Intel CPUs haven't really made any accessible leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
The GPUs are on a cusp on supposedly new architectures on both NVIDIA and AMD. So, and then AMD also has new CPUs coming out. So we'll see how that pans out.
Well, hopefully these new NVIDIA GPUs will be more than just a bump in my
Oh no,
resolution and frame rate.
they're
That's all the
supposed to
900
be
was.
like a huge leap, but we'll see. I'll wait for some actual benchmarks done to see.
Me too,
Well-
because the 900 series to me looks like just a bump in resolution and frame rates.
Yeah,
We don't want to like. I know we don't want to like have to keep going back to comparing to phones because it's not the best comparison. But
Mhm.
Phones a lot of times have very incremental upgrades too, and they manage to sell completely new releases to people.
yeah.
No, let's be honest with phones. It's not many people go each year
yeah.
and put down the actual $600
Right.
to get the new phone.
No,
They have
there's-
deals set up when that's like
Yep, they subsidize.
They'll
But
go-
here's the thing: you also look at the price point of $650 for full price cell phone, or even more in other countries, upwards of $800-900 versus the two to $300 for it subsidized by some method or another, or now the popular trend in the cell providers is paid for it month to month. Like essentially you're financing the phone. Like you
Rent to own it.
Yeah, it's rent to, which to me, honestly, that was a smart move because there was a lot of people figuring it out that the fucking subsidized phone plan bullshit was actually completely ripping everybody off.
Oh yeah, it's been
Because
for years.
you pay $200-300 up front, and then part of your plan's cost went to the phone, paying off that extra subsidy. Well, after a year, you had paid that off, so you were just literally you were literally paying them pure profit after that first year. And you had 1 year that they were just making pure profit off of you before you could get your next upgrade. That was such a ripoff. Anyway, so they've did away with that. Now, leasing options. If Xbox had like a, you pay, let's say, rolled in Xbox Live and some kind of iterative upgrade, like a car lease, right? You did like a car lease, because that's also a market for some people. If you say had to pay $25, $30, maybe as much as $50, let's go with $50 a month, high end, maybe $30 on the low end, for Xbox Live plus a console which you could upgrade yearly, like turn it into Microsoft, they give you the new model, etc., like a car lease does. Would you guys ever buy into that?
I don't know. Me personally, get rid of the paywall for Xbox Live. That's where I'm at with that. Of course, I've already bought into the Xbox One. I wouldn't mind upgrading the hardware. I wouldn't mind doing it, or even like doing it every few years. I'm not against that, but give me a reason to have it.
I'd just upgrade my PC.
Like I'm gonna stick to my PC.
That's what I was about to say. Like I don't think we're probably the best.
Yeah.
No, I guess the question is, could you see someone paying, let's say, for example, just an example
absolutely.
price,
I could
$30 a month, or
yeah.
That seems a little high. What does Xbox currently cost a month? Is it $6?
I don't recall. I pay it yearly, and I always find codes
It's
right
60.
per year.
Okay, I think it's $60 a year, so it's probably less than that.
It's like $40-$50 a year, I think, unless you find a deal.
Okay, yeah. So whatever the case on that one is, if you say an Xbox cost, what was the launch price of the Xbox One without the Kinect? Was it $400?
It always had the Kinect at launch.
I know, but I mean, like, the Kinect was essentially $100 tack on. So I was like,
oh yeah, when they dropped the price by $100.
Yeah, so it was like, what, $400 after that price drop, right?
Yeah, and then they dropped it again down to $350.
Yeah, so if it's $400 a year, and you figure rough math on there, you want a little profit for them, of course, because they're Microsoft, they're going to do this. But if you say $400, how long would it take to pay off monthly at, like, say, $20? That would be really hard to swallow if it was $15 a month. 15, 30, 45. That might be a little rough.
Yeah, I don't
know how they make that work. I don't know. It'd probably have to be somewhere around $30 a month for your Xbox Live and the Xbox console lease, and then you turn it in at the end of the year or whatever, and they give you the new model. Do you guys ever see anybody actually paying into that? Because that actually would be pretty steep. $30 a month for your gaming.
I think people might go for it. What I think would be a better model though, go like the NVIDIA Shield. Stream it.
Yeah. Well, like, considering that you also have, I think the reason why Xbox is going this route though is because of the pressure on them from more living room options, not just PlayStation and Wii U, but you have options like the Steam Link or the NVIDIA Shield, or you also have actual, legitimate living room gaming PCs like the Alienware Alpha, which is fairly reasonably priced with decent hardware in it that actually blows consoles out of the water. So I think that's the reason why they're going for this, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on to our next story here. So our next story obviously is as I mentioned before, burning Apple. So Oculus Rift laid major burn on Apple, essentially saying that when asked if they would support OS X for their Oculus Rift, they more or less said, if Apple ever made a good PC, we would support it. Just laid it on thick.
Coming 2019, the iVR.
Oh God, yeah. But so aside from needing to get our fire extinguishers out, let's discuss the glaring neglect of Apple has towards gaming. So why do you think Apple has pretty much chosen to ignore a market that would actually synergize a bit with its brand image?
I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I think of VR as like a gaming thing, and I don't think of Apple when I think of gaming.
Oh no, I'm talking gaming. The reason why Oculus is not supporting them is because there is no Macs out there that have any sort of good hardware for gaming. As far as graphics cards go,
because gamers tend to be tech savvy, maybe, and they realize how much of a
PC
rip-off.
gamers.
No, that's not. Even, that is not even true at all. That is a big misnomer. Is that most PC gamers are not tech savvy? Like I said, it would mesh with their brand image very well because their brand image is like the hipster guy sitting in the Starbucks with his MacBook Air and his iPhone. Well, that's right.
And from my perspective, the only people that would buy an Apple computer are people who don't know anything about computers, right?
I don't see people buying into Apple playing games. I don't know. I just don't see it.
I find a lot of people that buy.
I see them playing mobile games, but not hardcore gaming.
I find a lot of people that buy Apples are, like Travis said, they don't understand computers, or they've bought into the Apple philosophy.
I mean, like Mac is the $1,600 or whatever email machine, right? Like,
IVR is going to come out. It's going to be like $2,500.
The thing is that there is actually a lot of good creativity software on Mac. Like even the baked-in iMovie is better than what Windows has to offer. Like I'm not a fanboy of either one. Like honestly, I see there's a lot of benefits to Mac computers. They are overpriced though, but they're not the only one. You look at Razer PCs, you look at Alienware, you look at all of those
CyberPower.
Yeah, you look at any of those kind of quote unquote high end brands for PCs are all fucking overpriced. That's not just Apple. There was that one.
I saw a gaming rig in Best Buy a couple weeks ago. It was $900 for a set. It had like a i5 processor in it with a 750 non-TI. So it wasn't even the TI. It was a 8 gigs.
No, the brand.
Oh, the brand CyberPower.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying for convenience and brand.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
I'm looking at this PC. I'm like, I could build something equal to this. Like,
oh yeah, you can.
Oh no, and that's the thing is that's a big thing. And there are people, I should note, that actually do build what's known as Hackintoshes, which is essentially where they make their own custom software or they make their own custom hardware builds and make it compatible with OS X. The problem is that you don't really get a whole lot of driver support from NVIDIA or AMD for graphics cards on there, so you can't really make a very good gaming build out of it. Because obviously, does Apple ever fucking care about games? No. And I think that's kind of a glaring thing. So like I said, it fits with their brand image that they sell because obviously gaming is the hip thing to do.
I don't think so.
Apple's in this weird position where they don't really they don't have to care about all that much, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're following their brand and their following is at a point and is constructed in such a way that they don't really have to care all that much. They,
It's Apple. We can do it.
About how much product placement they have, man.
No. Okay. Let's clear something up here. Their product placement is not due to them doing anything. Microsoft and other guys that are kind of competing with Apple and other fronts, they have gone out of their way to pay like TV shows and that sort of thing to to actually, put their products in those shows. Apple doesn't. Apple has just flat out said that they never charge anybody or in any way prevent anybody from using their products in creative productions like movies or whatever. So anytime you see someone using a Mac in a movie, it's only because they don't have to pay any licensing or royalty rights for using anything else. And because Microsoft or like Dell, HP, whatever, might have had rules like that in the past where you had to pay licensing fees to show their image on the screen, that's the reason why Apple got such a foothold in that, where they got that free publicity.
Well, let's not forget too when people that talk about Macs are better multimedia editing machines too. Like I've heard that a million times. They're better for making music. They're better for editing video.
It's not that they're better for it.
I've heard that. I've heard people say it.
They actually do, in some cases, have legitimately better software for it.
Oh yes. Like iMovie.
Is it like legitimately better base software? Or is there things that you can go out and get that work for...
No, the thing is now they have the base software. So first of all, iMovie's baked into Apple, or it's a free download. One of the two. I can't remember offhand.
Right.
But that comes right in with iOS X. You don't have to pay for that.
GarageBand.
GarageBand you have to pay for.
Is that? No, you have to pay for Logic. GarageBand was baked in.
Nope. GarageBand you have to pay for. They might have changed that since you last looked, but yeah, like in any case though, so those are two very, very significant creative applications that are only available on Mac. Logic is also only on Mac, but other things like Ableton Live is on both Mac and Windows. So, but the thing is that's where they got that reputation, right? Is because they had all this exclusive software for creative stuff on there. But funny thing is that a lot of the creative world does not use Mac because they need something a little bit more specialized that unfortunately can't be used outside of Windows. Like if I want to do stuff with like, Photoshop, yeah, I can use a Mac for that. But if I have to go to some proprietary development thing for the engine that I'm using, like say Unity or whatever, then I have to probably go to Windows, and that's just a pain to have to go back and forth. Let's not also forget about drivers. That's the problem with Mac, is their driver support for a lot of stuff is kind of a pain in the ass. But whatever, that's me as an IT person talking about the pains of Macintosh computers. The point is that I kind of saw it as like, I've always seen it as like a kind of a stark contrast between what potential money they could make on there. And I think they just like, I think it was Joe that said they don't want to deal with the headache. Like essentially it's just too much effort for them. They don't want to have to deal with it.
I didn't say that.
I think it might have been Travis then. I don't know.
That was Kev.
Or maybe I just am hearing voices in my head.
Maybe you are. The only thing I said about Mac with the headaches, actually that was me. When I said you get the technology out the way for like the casual average user who just wants to get on their computer and maybe watch Netflix or go on Facebook. They'll pay if they make enough money to do that. They're going to go for the one that they know, Macs just work. Now, I was comparing that to the consoles.
Macs are almost like the consoles of PC.
That's the comparison I was making earlier, dude. Was that, consoles are like Macs. They just work.
The worst of both worlds.
For the people who really just don't give a shit, and they're like, I got money, I'm just going to throw it down.
Well, I think, money-wise, consoles are a little different, because consoles have the perception of being cheaper. Like, yes, the hardware, the initial pay-in is cheaper, but long-term consoles can be a little more expensive depending on how you look at it.
I will throw out there too, just so we're kind of clear on here, is when I say, when I'm talking PCs or what have you, I'm talking about any operating system on a PC, including Linux. Just because Zyphon was saying Windows or Linux. Yeah, Linux has a bit more support on gaming, but that's just because Linux actually has some kind of support from, like AMD and NVIDIA as far as graphics cards go.
How is AMD support on Linux? I'm not sure about NVIDIA, but I would imagine that Linux and AMD being, they're very much for the do-it-yourself crowd. I would imagine they probably support them very well.
They support them okay. Like, you got to realize that all of those companies involved in gaming, Windows is the place to be, because that's the most ubiquitous operating system by an enormous majority. Like 90% of the gaming PCs that are out there are Windows. So they put 90% of their issues. But Linux does. The thing is that because Linux tends to it tends to have a little bit less issues with, I think, oftentimes, especially if you get on one of the long-term distros of it. The thing is that you can get a driver for gaming for your graphics card and not have to worry about updates to it. Yeah, NVIDIA's game-ready drivers or whatever, where they give you, essentially are tuning your game settings for that new game that came out. Yeah,
didn't work for Gears of War.
But yeah, aside from that, and aside from poorly optimized games, like
they
Linux
baked in GameWorks into the ambient occlusion and basically fucked up the whole ambient occlusion option. There's just on or off, HBAO plus, on or off.
That's it. You only get HBAO, no SSAO.
It doesn't even say, it just says ambient occlusion.
Oh,
It doesn't even tell you what
yeah,
it is.
it's
Somebody went to the files
HB.
and found it. Yeah, it's HBAO plus. Somebody found it in the files, and that's what was killing the AMD performance.
Yep,
You
because
turn
HBAO
that
is
off,
brutal. Mm-hmm.
and it runs just as good as NVIDIA.
Yep. But yeah, no, Linux has its issues as well. Obviously, being very, very under-supported and not very well understood. It does have some games. Obviously, with Steam has tried to make an effort to push into that space with their Steam OS, which is Linux-based. But it's still the red-headed stepchild that not a lot of people pay attention to.
The performance is also much worse on SteamOS.
I don't know. I haven't played around with it.
Yeah, I've seen the benchmarks with it, where the benchmarks for SteamOS on games compared to Windows 10 was terrible.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But
I've been told, and I realized that I didn't get a chance to talk about the games that I played this week.
Oh, yeah. Someone
you
yelling
don't
at
play
you.
anything on your potato.
I played some Portal, and I'm slowly working through Portal right now.
If I could only do that robot voice. You have failed. You are a poor human being. I need to build an auto tune to the stream so I can randomly talk like the robots.
Like 18, I think, right now. So
yeah, dude.
I'm almost done with it, I think. So
yeah, you're so close to the end.
Yeah. The point where GLaDOS does this spoiler, blah blah blah, spoiler.
Yes, that point.
That's...
Anyway, we'll leave it at that. So yes, Portal. He was playing Portal. There's the answer to your question, folks. Asking Travis what he's played this week. He has not been playing any indie Russian games.
Yet.
We got
to get him on Forza Apex. That's what we have to do.
Forza, man.
They're bringing a free-to-play Forza to PC.
I love Forza.
June, I think it is. It's based on Forza 6, and then they're gonna bring them over to PC and Xbox One at the same time for every new Forza. I don't know if it's Motorsport or on Horizon or if it's just Motorsport.
So good.
But I know it's at least Motorsport.
I wonder if my buddy
Horizon too.
Wonder if my buddy worked on it. I gotta ask him about it.
Yeah. No, Forza's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Forza.
And a free to play one is even better.
Except I never play it.
Peasantry.
I never played Forza game.
You don't have to play something to acknowledge it's cool, right?
Forza is king.
I've always been a Need for Speed fan.
Need for Speed, yeah.
Specifically Underground 2, Most Wanted, the free driving ones. Because there's nothing more fun.
The music is just like playing in my head right now. It's like my childhood.
There's nothing more fun than going like 120 miles an hour and just blowing into that concrete barricade. It doesn't move and it doesn't damage your car because realism. Fuck you. Suspension of disbelief blown.
You don't play Need for Speed for realism.
Yeah,
you play
no,
Need for
not
Speed
at all.
for fun.
Yeah,
fun and realism don't always coincide.
Gran Turismo on the original PlayStation was my shit.
Oh no, I'm right there with you. Like Gran Turismo, I think I played Gran Turismo 2 as well. I think that was a PlayStation 2. Might have been the original PlayStation. Zyphon probably could answer that one. I can't remember. The realism of that game was amazing. So many realistic things that you had to do. Like when you're going through the tutorial and you've got that initial car, you might as be driving a fucking stock 85 Honda. Like, you're so slow. You're driving the granny car. Like, you're like, yes, I can take this turn at 45 miles an hour. Rock on. By the way, people were telling you, Travis, that you gotta love the cake. Eat the cake. Eat the cake.
The cake is still a lie.
Cake is a lie.
Yes. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on to our last story of the night here. So, obviously, our most fun one and why we were kind of making jokes about Ubisoft. Ubisoft has decided that all reviewers and critics of The Division should wait until the game is live to for them to write the reviews, because they quote unquote feel like you need to see the game in its live form.
They basically said don't pre-order
I just
it.
love the look on Travis and Joe's face.
They basically said, please don't pre-order my game. It's fucked.
Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly
Ubisoft.
what it's saying there.
Ubisoft,
Like
Stop
you
it.
just like
stop.
just like dig in your grave right now for this game. It's like they want this game to
What
tank.
the part they didn't
Yeah.
tell
Well, I
you
think
is
what
if
it
you
is
played the
is-
beta, you beat the whole game.
By the way,
I
this isn't
think
just
part of
stop.
the-
This is like Ubisoft stop as in the STAHP, you know. Stop, Ubisoft.
Well,
Stop it.
I think part of it is too, and that they're doing it for this reason. I commend them for it. They want the reviewers to see what it's like live, online, how everybody
Then
else will actually
they
get.
need to do an event where they give limited access to a group of reviewers and allow them to play in a live
Wait,
setting.
wait,
for like
wait,
a week.
are you-
what
do-
I'm
do you
saying
mean
is
like the
You
beta?
don't want that. Like think of like with
Yeah.
GTA 5 or not GTA 5, Metal Gear Solid 5. I think what they're trying to do is get beyond that and say these are the real scenarios with real people. It's not the beta. This is the finished product. And if that is the case, because it is a fully online game, then I love the idea.
Thing is,
Not
I don't
even
trust
that.
Ubisoft.
You
though.
can-
I don't,
you
I don't
trust
either.
them.
That's why I'm like, go ahead, wait. I just won't pre-order it.
You can
Don't
still
pre-order
you
games,
can
then you'll be fine.
The problem is you can still give the game out to the reviewers and be like, look, like that this is not online, you know, and like the reviewers can put out, all right, you know, this isn't the full experience, but this is what we have, right? Like this is what we can give you right now and show you how awesome these parts of the game are that aren't set up 100%. If those parts are not like there's a lot of parts of the game that can be reviewed outside of the online portion.
It's always online. The whole game is online.
Yeah, it's an MMO. It's Destiny essentially. So as Lieutenant Rios Grim on Twitch was saying, if you played the alpha, you played the whole game. Yeah, thereabouts 12 hours of actual quest missions, and then a sandbox grind, open world type ending where you have random stuff. Honestly,
It's like
feels,
Diablo.
Yeah, it kind of, yeah, in some ways that, although some ways it has a little bit of a similarity to Batman Arkham City. I don't know about Arkham Knight, didn't play that one, but Arkham City, you essentially had, you know, you would get to the end, and like the end felt like really strangely anticlimactic to me, because I didn't feel like, okay guys, here's the end of the game. You beat the game. Oh, do you want to continue playing open world? Sure, go ahead. No, it was kind of like, you beat the final boss. And now we're just going to throw you in this area and have this little conversation with Catwoman, and then you can keep doing any of the side missions you need to do for those two and whatever. And it kind of felt like, what just happened?
Just
I
like
beat it?
I don't understand this, like the decision to go this way with this game. I don't like. I mean, I kind of understand because like Destiny and stuff, but at the same time, like
I know
the people that were excited for this game and the feedback that they got from the people who were excited about this game, like it really goes against what they ended up deciding to do.
Yeah, my thing is that I'm pretty certain the reason why they're holding back the reviewers is time crunch, right? So they only probably legitimately have 12 hours of gameplay or less of actual quest story modes for now, until they release the Taken King DLC for The Division. Oh shit, sorry.
The Game of the Year edition.
You know, yeah, and then a week later they'll release Game of the Year that includes Taken King for free.
Baby Dragon Age, because you did it too and you're still on my shit list.
Yep. But in any case,
my
so my thing is that it's my issue is that there's like legitimately a very short actual quest mode, and then it's just pretty much like you said, like Diablo, where it's just open world grinding after that. And the reason why they embargoed the reviews is because once the game launches and the embargo is free to go, then all of the guys will be rushing to get as much done so they can write at least a half-assed review on the game and get it out quickly, which means they're not going to be, you know,
It's critical.
yeah, it's never going to be finished. That's the point, is they're not going to get the whole story mode finished. They're going to play for 5 hours and then say, okay, I've got enough to know.
I'd be surprised because Ubisoft is the company known for giving you random BS missions and
Kev, you've been
that
accused
stuff.
of buying Destiny for the Taken King.
Yeah.
That is not a denial.
Grim
That
played
is
it with
not a fucking denial.
Well, the thing I played it with Grim. Grim knows what's up. So,
You
but
peasants.
I know, right? But what was I saying? Oh, Ubisoft is really known for putting like too much content in the game. I would like my fear if from
Too
Ubisoft.
much shit content.
Right, but that's the
Filler.
point. That's the point though. They put in a lot of filler content. So when people say it's like a 12 hours game, like I that doesn't sound like Ubisoft to me.
I don't
It's
know.
12 hours because they took out the 50 hours of painting the wall and then watching it dry.
Yeah, I can see that.
Of gameplay.
It's very much the Assassin's Creed go here for content attitude. Even the beta was like that.
How many radio
Most
towers
Ubisoft,
are there?
I mean,
most
Donkey
every
just
Ubisoft
like
game I think I've ever played in like the last 5 years has been like that.
Well,
didn't video game Donkey just like totally rip into the Assassin's Creed franchise just in a recent video of his?
Yes, I saw
I don't know
some
if you
videos.
guys watch him.
Hilarious.
But yeah, he really like
What I want to know
it was in
is
his Donkey funny fashion, but it was like some serious like
That was some
Ubisoft.
real shit. Like that's the only video of his I've seen. It just happened to show up on my timeline, and that shit was funny as hell.
Yeah.
what I want to know is who in Ubisoft's development team has like these enormous hard-on for towers and radio towers? Like, do they have an entire room in there? Like, this is the tower room division. Like, there's an entire
Just like-
team
just like-
dedicated to how are we gonna get radio towers in this game?
Just people really. There's certain people that really fixate on certain things, like trains and waterfalls. So there's
They have,
just,
like,
just this
60
one room.
offices.
There's this one office room in Ubisoft with just massive like framed
oh,
posters
Sean
of just
Stone, shots
radio
fired.
towers.
It's probably outside of their office in the yard at the top of an extremely tall tower.
I will throw it out
He's
there.
probably right.
I will say Sean Stone totally just laid it on thick of who Kev really is. Kev buys a new Xbox game, gets everybody on board with it, and then sells it a week later. Fucking drops people. Like that's the true Kev you guys don't see on there.
Oh, Kev.
He's mad about Halo. He bought. Oh no. So let's tell the story about that. So Halo 5, we got on there. We all played the campaign. I had it for a week. He had gotten it that weekend. We ran through the campaign. I was burnt out on the multiplayer. I played the hell out of that multiplayer for the week I had it, and I'm like, I'm ready to play Fallout. I traded it in and said, I'm just gonna get Fallout.
So, Kev, when we gonna finish our Dead Space 3 playthrough? Eh?
I don't know whenever you get back on it, because the problem with Dead Space wasn't me, it was you. You weren't playing it. You're like, oh, I'm playing this right now.
I thought you
Yeah,
stopped playing.
it's all about that Warframe. About that Warframe.
No.
This is before he got back into
Before
Warframe. This was like
I
a
think
year and a half ago.
This was like March last year. I think it's because we started playing Mass Effect 3 again.
Yeah, we did start playing Mass Effect, and then what did I start playing after Mass Effect? When I got off of there, I think I started playing The Witcher. Or no, then we started playing Dark Souls.
Yeah,
Once we got into Dark Souls, we never really looked at Dead Space.
Yeah, we gotta go back to Dead Space 3.
What are you talking about, guys? Dead Space 3 was totally not arbitrary forcing you to play multiplayer game.
Hey, I'll forgive that. The microtransactions in a single-player game that you can easily get around but are no less obnoxious. That's what I'm kind of grouchy about. Ugh.
Oh,
Well,
man.
In any case, that got quiet really quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I was rewatching a clip from Tom Clancy Wildlands, the reveal trailer.
I'm hoping that is what I hope the Division would be.
Right. Yeah, Wildlands, it looks interesting. Then again, I've been severely disappointed by Ghost Recon games before, so...
Yeah.
Ubisoft, like, it's really unfortunate.
Which Ghost Recon games were you disappointed in?
What was the one, the Future Soldier or whatever?
Future Soldier was fucking fantastic. It was a little short, but...
I can't remember, but there was one of them that I was disappointed in, at least the multiplayer of it.
I didn't play the actual PvP. I did the
maybe that was
I did the co-op with Siphon, and I played through that co-op like 100,000 times because you had to sometimes do things certain ways to get certain weapons and stuff like that. So you had to go and replay missions and play them in a different fucking way. It was
I feel like the Ghost Recon, like the newer Ghost Recon games, are really gonna get like they really kind of get hindered by Uplay and like all the weird like Ubisoft like microtransaction nonsense that they're trying to toss into Ghost Recon games. It's just I feel it doesn't fit well with the games and the
They
intended
didn't have
audience.
any MTs in Future Soldier, but if you're talking about Phantoms is a free-to-play game, so that's...
I can't remember which one
Phantoms
it was.
is the online-only, multiplayer-only free-to-play game, which is actually fucking great. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the player base for it. That's the issue.
Right.
Is that the way it operates, it forces the players to be tactical and work with their team. Everything in the game is set up to kind of encourage people to play as a team. Like even like little subtle things like the UI has like that kind of digital Ghost Recon type thing, right? And one of the things it does is it has like little lines connecting you with your teammates, like that you see going off screen and whatever, to help you know where your teammates are at all times. Little subtle things like that. And then the fact of if you try to run and gun in that game, you will get ass raped hard with something
It's
made
kind
of sandpaper
Siege
and
is
thorns.
like that too.
Yeah,
Rainbow
Siege-
Siege is really like that.
but that's also
That's an
something Rainbow
interesting-
Six is known for too. Yeah.
Right. That's an interesting idea. I think we should have a discussion about that one week as like gamers' tendency to, want to lone wolf anything no matter what game and a lot
PvP games most specifically. Although
Yeah.
you see it in some PvE games as well. Like Warframe can suffer from that a lot too, let's be honest.
yeah.
You
it's
can
really
get
it's really odd seeing as how much fun like working with other people is in video games. Like just the amount of like it's such a different kind of fun and I don't know.
like some of the experiences I've had playing Phantoms when I actually can find a lobby to join because there's so few people playing it ever that it takes like an hour. I shit you not, a fucking hour for it to find a match for you. But seeing the fucking like just everybody hops in there. They first of all known that they have they like people know that you go in there with a mic. You're not doing some people go in there with text chat and are fine enough, but almost everybody goes in with a mic and they are constantly feeding information back and forth. Like we got two guys coming in from here, we got guys moving here, blah blah, always talking all the fucking time. You don't
It sounds
see that.
like Counter-Strike in a way too.
A little bit,
CS:GO
yeah.
is big on that. If you get out of casual mode and go into the competitive, yeah, like it's all they don't even show up without a mic.
Well, there's some people that use the text chat and it still works, but
Yeah, but you probably still want to use a mic.
the
Like
thing is, it's
yourself are
easier.
not really using a mic.
It's much easier. That and the game system. The game system is actually very smoothly operating. It runs like how I wish Division ran. Unfortunately, Division looks like they like tried to chop and dice up Phantom's fucking game engine or the movement mechanics at least, and ended up with something that's like half of it. It's got like very key parts of it missing. And that really annoyed me. And the gun differential in that game. Every fucking gun felt like, well, okay, the super low level shit was obviously objectively worse than the super high level stuff. But there was at least in, like, say, your sniper rifles. Not all sniper rifles are the same. You had semi-auto sniper rifles, and you had the that were faster firing, a little bit weaker damage. And then you had your heavy, your big boy rifles that were slow firing, slow reload, that sort of thing. But, were pretty much a guaranteed kill against anything they hit. You had the same thing with a lot of your assault rifles, whatever. The detail in there. They tried to pay some close mind to actually how the guns operate in real life and their bullet spread and that sort of thing. And good fucking luck using a gun outside of cover. That was a great game. Yes, there were microtransactions. Yes, it did suffer from some of the pay-to-win bullshit that you run into in free-to-play titles. But overall, the way the game was made was great, and I kind of wish that they would... I wish that someone could actually do that. So whenever I saw Wildlands, first when I saw The Division, I was like, sweet, an actual AAA... Like, yes, Ubisoft published Phantoms, but it didn't feel as AAA as a lot of the other games. Saw The Division, I was like, oh yes, this is AAA. Yeah, it's gonna be like Phantoms, only PVE, and I can have teammates in there. You know, so it's like Phantoms mixed with Future Soldier. And then I played it, and I was like, "This is fucking Destiny. Fuck this."
See,
Like,
maybe it's because the same reason I like Destiny. I like the PvE aspect of Destiny, and I really like the PvE aspect of the Division.
no,
Like, I'd buy the Division just to play PvE.
no.
Well,
Here's my thing.
that was the problem. Is Division wasn't supposed to be like that. The fan base didn't want
Yeah,
something.
that is not a
trivial.
Tom Clancy Tom Clancy game. Okay, so Tom Clancy, one of the things you'll notice on almost all the other titles is they pay attention to real world details. Like, this is how a gun actually operates. When I shoot you in the fucking head, you die. Fuck this whole I'm gonna shoot you 6 times in the head and you laugh at me. No, that's how Destiny works. That's how Warframe works. Those sci-fi games where you're fighting aliens and shooting them 100,000 times can kind of fit into the suspension of disbelief. But when you're playing the realistic Tom Clancy environment and you have the bullet spongy enemies, it bugs the shit out of me. That's not Tom Clancy.
Yeah, that's weird. And Tom
So
game.
if they would have just taken Tom Clancy off the title, I would have never had any expectation that it would be a Rainbow Six or a Ghost Recon like experience, and I would have been like, yeah, that's fine. Someone else can play that. I'm good. But the fact that
it reminds me.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it reminds me kind of like a go and play SWAT 4. That was such a fun game where, man, you had to tactically decide every single room you entered into was like, how am I going to clear this? Because one guy could just annihilate you or one of your teammates, or one of your squad mates. Like, everything died extremely rapidly in SWAT, man.
well, that was a big thing in Future Soldier when you were doing the co-op story mode. Like, the game really pressured you in a lot of scenarios to do the sync shot mode, which was one of the coolest fucking features of that game. And essentially, so essentially you have to mark 4 targets. You know, each of the characters. You can actually co-op with up to 4 people in that game. So, but you have to sync up 4 different targets, and then the squad leader calls to take the shot, and everybody gets prompted to press a button, and they all fire the shot at the same time. It kind of dilates time a little bit, and they all fire at the same time and knock down 4 targets instantly. So it's like you don't have to worry about one guy getting shot and another guy noticing him and spotting it. That's the idea behind it. And the way they implemented it was brilliant. And I'm hoping that Ghost Recon Wildlands is an actual Go fucking Recon game and not a goddamn bullet sponge Division 1 or Destiny. I guess this was like hiding under the surface, and you guys brought it out.
I brought out your Ghost Recon ranting.
I love tactical games. If it's RTS, tactical shooting. Sorry, I hate when they take a well-respected tactical name like Tom Clancy, that's known for tactical games and issuing on tactical and a little bit of technology, and then just throwing that out the window and saying, no, we're just going to make you a grindy MMO like Destiny. Have fun. Anyway, let's get moving on here. So, as I was going to shift the tile, that was like 10 minutes ago. So, our evergreen topic. This is something that's kind of prevalent to these new games, like Super Hot coming out. There you go, Sean Stone. I made your little shout out to Super Hot there. The new games that are coming out, that you might sit down and play with. What are the patterns you repeat every time you play a new game? This might require a little bit of thinking. But Travis, do you know any patterns that you repeat anytime you get a new game, you sit down to play? What do you usually do? You get your Mountain Dew and Doritos out?
I used to read the instruction manuals and pamphlets they had in the cases.
What the fuck happened to
That's
those?
not a thing. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
They became obsolete.
First they put in a link to the website, and I don't even think they do that. And whatever. Nah, I miss them. I still have my my Oblivion, the original Oblivion case with the instruction pamphlet in it and everything. The thing was huge. It was like this thick. It was crazy. And I used to read that thing. It was nice. let's see, what else? It's been a long time since I've actually gotten and played a new game. So like it's difficult to remember exactly, how I anything interesting that I do. Hmm.
Is Travis saying he's gone casual?
Yeah, Zyphon hit it right on the spot. Do you automatically go into the settings the first time?
That's what I do.
Automatically go into the settings. Like for whenever I get like a new PC game, the few that I've gotten, I do go into the settings right away and see like what they have.
See, I
And
did that on
any
console.
interesting things.
I did that on console too.
I go and make sure the controls. There's no weird control things that I'm gonna get messed up by.
That's actually why I used to do it on console. Like, yeah, Morty, you might remember this. Back in particularly in the PS2 era, PS or 360 or not 360, but Genesis used it a little bit too. You could actually bind your keys. You could actually bind your controller keys on console games. And then right around the PS2 era, that went away, where they just gave you like pre-baked settings.
Yeah,
for everything. And nowadays, you're lucky to find the pre-baked settings. Usually, no, this is the one set. Use it.
Yeah, I just want to throw it out there on the manuals note that Zyphon said manuals are only worthwhile if they're like Earthworm Jim. Yes, Earthworm Jim, one of the best game manuals ever written. Where it tells you the controls of the game on Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, and it says the X button rings some old lady's doorbell in Germany, so stop pressing it. Like that game was.
It did that on the Genesis too. I had it on Genesis and it did that.
Oh no, I think it didn't have that because Genesis had the one less button on it, so it didn't need that on Genesis.
Well, it had six. I had the 6-button controller.
Oh, okay, yeah, but there was that was a horribly meta game, and even to the point where I'm pretty certain they were high while making the game, and probably high while they were writing the manual for the game. So,
to be honest, I think a lot of people are high while making a lot of games.
Yeah. So Joe, what do you do every time you get a new game and you start to play? What's your rituals?
I start the game up and I play it.
Peasantry.
What a cop out! What a cop out, Joe.
He sounds like the console players that he backs so
I don't do anything special.
enthusiastically.
You do stuff. You just don't want to think about it. You don't want to recognize that you have an addiction to gaming and that you have habitual.
I do what Travis did. I look at the settings and I mess with the settings and I mess with the key bindings, and then I go and I play it.
Well, now that I think, I'm like thinking, like trying to like bring up memories of like my old days when I would get new releases on my consoles and stuff. And yeah, like I was totally the nacho nacho cheese Doritos and Mountain Dew guy, especially with Halo.
Ranch for the win. What's wrong with you?
No. It was
with Halo,
the jalapeno 3D Doritos. God, those things were fucking addicting.
Since then,
Game Fuel for Halo 3 and like Doritos, like that was my thing.
Don't even comment on that, Zyphon. Don't want to hear about it. Nothing. Mountain Dew doesn't exist. Shut up. I'm of course speaking to my pallets of fucking Mountain Dew.
My pallets.
Shout out to Zyphon too, telling Joe to go back to console.
Now,
or like go back to console.
I never left.
I really can't wait to get back in, heavy into gaming because I really do miss it.
It'll happen soon, man. It'll happen about the same time that I'm building my monster PC. That
don't worry, he's gotta buy his guns first, though.
Yes, well, he's got to buy his guns in order to get his PC.
Game, but I gotta buy them guns.
No,
apparently shooting people in real life is more important than shooting.
Look, that 980 isn't going anywhere, but my stripped lower probably will not be in the store.
No. What I'm saying is he's buying guns in order to get his PC. You guys completely missed that point.
Yeah, he'll just take the PC.
Yeah.
I know where Morty lives now.
Oh, good luck with that one, buddy. You don't want to go there, buddy. You don't want to go there. Hey, I'm just throwing it out there. I lived for a long time in Little Texas. The miniature version of Texas. My
man.
sister-in-law's boyfriend is the son of a cop, and all he does is
I'm more likely to simply come over and just like LAN party
game.
with you.
Yep.
Yeah, like old school LAN party.
Like, I will shoot you in a game.
When you teabag his corpse after.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So I know like some of the I had to do a lot of thought on this, so I kind of cheated in the fact that I actually read the notes before the podcast to actually have time to think about this one.
Joe.
Like
No.
oh god, those guys are great. Going on, everybody's just rapping on Joe right now. This is the apparently the what do they call those? The burn roast. That's it. We're roasting Joe apparently in the chat. In any case, though, I've obviously done the whole read the manual. Usually, I did that because I wasn't allowed to play the game when I first got it. Right when I was like younger or whatever, I had to wait for some reason, so I'd like read the manual like because I was really excited to play it. And usually I still get really excited because I'm not allowed to play the game usually beforehand. I'm usually told that I have to wait for things like work and eating food and things like that.
You make sure your room is clean and brushing your teeth. That bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. But no, like some of the other things, like, yeah, I go into the settings menu, but I know that every time I get a new game, I like sit there and okay, this is going a little bit outside of just sitting down with a new game, but holy shit, how much time have you guys spent on the character creator screen?
Oh man, yeah.
Almost done. I'll say that. You know what I
all
get
the
into
time.
nowadays? Benchmarking.
Mm-hmm.
Like I find my settings and I benchmark that bitch.
Well, yeah, because you actually have a card worth benchmarking.
True.
I'll start up Warframe just to go and fiddle with characters and make them look better.
Yeah, no, like
And log off.
the character creator though, like Mass Effect, Elder Scrolls, Dragon Age, the amount of time I spent on the character creator screen is silly. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Recently, sat down with Divinity.
Do they have a character creator in there?
Huh? Yep.
Oh wow! I still haven't played it.
Yeah, it's not a very advanced. It's just preset faces, preset hairstyles, that sort of thing. Not as advanced as Elder Scrolls or Dragon Age or Fallout 4, where they actually have like shaping tools where you can sculpt facial features and that sort of thing. But Joe's asked, have you ever started a game and was pushed back by how bad the intro theme was? If so, what game?
Okay, I'll just answer that instead of typing it. No, I can't remember a game off the top of my head that I've been that blown away by how bad the intro theme was.
Really? What if it was country music? Like,
I mean,
I'm talking about cheesy, twangy,
I don't, I judge game, I go and I research games before I play them.
I like some of my cheesy, twangy, older
games.
country music now.
I don't.
Country music is garbage. Come on, Travis.
New country music is garbage.
Country music's garbage.
No, I like bluegrass music. I like some of the really old folk music. But when it gets to the dear my dog he died,
my dog died, my wife left me for man.
No, I'm good on that.
No, they're all singing about drinking nowadays, drinking or sleeping with someone. Or
it's drinking and sleeping with someone. Their dog died.
I can get down some boot scoot and boogie. Like that's my jam.
You want to listen to some good country music? Listen to folk music.
That's not country music.
That is fucking the original country music.
I like folk.
Don't even go there on with someone with a music degree on what folk music is. It is the original country music. That's where fucking country came from.
I don't know. Like current country music is like closer to pop and rock than it is.
It depends on some of your because it's obviously got a very niche audience. Like it is very much. Apparently enough people chatted in there to where Nightbot started spamming out Kev's link again. Hey guys, look.
I appreciate it.
He won't
subscribe, Kev the Gamer.
He won't fucking say my name, but he likes Kev apparently. Fucking Nightbot bastard traitor. Anyway, so what I was going though is that why am I going off on country music? Back to the ritual. So no, Joe's never been turned off by the intro song. So I spend a lot of time on the character creator, but like, have you guys ever sat down with a new game and the game's loaded up? It's got the press start to continue screen, right? Or whatever form it happens is, click to continue, whatever, or log in. And you guys go to to GameFAQs or Wikipedia or something like that and start looking up like things on the game. Like Dark Souls, for example. Dark Souls 3 come out.
That's a requirement for Dark Souls. if you've done any cursory research on Dark Souls before getting the game, you know that you're gonna have a wiki and a forum or two open. So, yeah.
Yeah, you have to go to subreddit and but that's one that I've done on a few games where I'm literally like on the Reddits and the wikis trying to figure out stuff on the game even before I'm playing it. Kev doesn't do that because he's a console peasant and he's frozen over there. He's just thinking about how great his consoles look.
Consoles look good? What are you talking about?
Apparently Kev thinks they look good. That's all I'm saying.
I do?
Wait, now it's fucking spamming out Nicodemus. So Nikki gets some free promotion even though you're not on the podcast, man.
Not even here.
The fuck?
God.
Thanks, Nightbot. You had one job. You had one fucking job and you couldn't do it right.
On YouTube.
Oh my. Anyway, so let's go ahead.
Can we get it now to spam Joe's Twitch channel? So we can get Joe on Twitch.
Oh, so Grim wants to go and clean unless he wants some cool items. That's what she said. Anyway, so any other rituals anybody do before we go to our final thoughts?
Nope.
Quiet silence. All right, let's go ahead and start wrapping up here, guys. So, final thoughts, Travis.
I don't know. Let's try not to forget the games I played next week.
Wait, you play games?
Even though
Casual.
it's
casual.
Just at least ask.
No.
I'll do my best to actually have a game to talk about next week. Maybe I'll do another playthrough of Shadowrun Hong Kong.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to really, maybe I'll run up, hit up Shadowrun because I have those games. I just haven't played them yet. Or maybe I'll do I don't know, something. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll stream.
Joe, final thoughts.
How much? How much this week? I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
So what about that Warframe?
That grind frame, though.
I mean, deadliest enemy in the game right now is cats, and from a crazy cat lady.
Crazy cat lady. It's
So
so true.
Crazy cat lady, and did she like it?
She actually sounds like a crazy cat lady.
Let me see if I can find an image. I'll post it in the chat before we go.
Post it in the actual...
Yeah, the
chat.
YouTube I was going to.
Oh, hey, finally it spammed out my link. Thank you, Nightbot.
Nightbot, fail.
Grim said you need to get good, Joe. Scrub.
Anyway. Send me Grim to ascend. Grim's been looking at ascending for a while now. I sent him out a GTX 650 like a year ago. All he needs is a power supply to play, and he refuses to ascend.
I don't know. Nightbot. Yes, Nightbot has its issues, but it was easy for me to configure. So I was like, why not? I'll use it for the time being until I find something better. I've been slowly getting into more streaming, but I'll get on that in a moment. But first, Kev.
Well, I mean, my thing is the same as always. Check out my channel, Kev the Gamer, on YouTube. I'm just playing games, finishing finals, and getting ready to start the new job. So things are going to be slow on my channel for the next few days. They forgot to do taste tests and old school this week. The gaming showcases that I've been doing every week. Because I've been so busy, and I might not do them this week either.
Mm-hmm. You know how that
Just
works.
because I've been busy. I've been busy with school.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Yeah, so that's all my chilling for this week.
So as my final thoughts on here, I would like to thank Grim for all of his coming in there and assisting me with trolling Joe and Kev. It's been greatly appreciated. I never argue with anybody helping me troll Kev and Joe. Anyway, you guys know me, Angelus de Mortiel.
Man, I found it.
Oh, we finally found it. He's gonna post.
I remember the name of it.
Scrub.
Let's see.
It's too late. I'm out of gameplay.
Yes, he's out of gameplay. Every week we always go over.
Wait,
are
we offline? Are we good?
No, we're not offline.
Okay.
He's not even paying attention.
Well,
Oh, and this is how we end our podcast, guys, with everybody not paying attention and Joe filling up the chat with an obnoxious picture of the crazy cat lady. So there you guys go. You should guys see in the middle of the stream here, in the chat, the crazy cat lady in her full glory. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. Everybody likes it. So anyway, if you guys, obviously, as I say every week, if you guys want to see us live here with our webcams and all that good stuff, go ahead and check out either me on Twitch or on YouTube. Either way, it's streamed on both simultaneously on here. If you guys want to see it with some Gabe,
Gabe, are you playing some Gabe and not telling me?
No, I said gameplay. Gameplay. If you want to see it with some gameplay, you can go over and see the gameplay on Kev's channel over there.
Gameplay for the win.
I don't even know what that is, but whatever. It works. The gameplay on there, that'll be that comes as a video on demand there. So obviously, you guys can check us out every Sunday night at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter with a video on demand. But we're going to go ahead and sign off here for the night, and we'll go ahead and catch you guys next week on the Pixel Crashers
Podcast.